Picture this. You're watching congressional hearing on live television. The cameras are rolling. The press is ready, and Donald Trump is sitting at the witness table, that familiar confident smirk on his face. He's leaning back slightly, tie sharp-red, hands resting on his folder prepared notes. He looks like a man ready to go on the offensive. But what you're about to witness is something nobody in that room saw coming. Not the lawmakers, not the press corps, not even Trump himself. Because sometimes the truth doesn't come from your enemies. Sometimes it comes from the people closest to you. The tension in that hearing room was already thick enough to cut with a knife. You had Jasmine Crockett sitting across from Trump, her notes minimal, her eyes locked on him like a hawk tracking its prey. She had that quiet confidence of someone who already knew how this was going to end. The press cameras lined the back wall, their lenses glinting under those harsh overhead lights, and you could feel in your chest that electric anticipation when you know something big is about to happen. Trump leans toward his microphone, ready to launch into one of those rolling defenses that would dominate the news cycle. The live stream chat is already going crazy, viewers waiting for the opening salvo. And then, without any warning, everything changes. The giant display screen behind the committee table suddenly comes alive, washing the entire chamber in this unexpected glow. The press corps goes dead silent, because on that screen appears a face that nobody, and I mean nobody, expected to see. Ivanka Trump, live, not at some polished podium, not reading from prepared statement, but looking directly into the camera with minimal makeup, and her hair pulled back, speaking for what looks like a simple room. And then she says 8 words that land in that chamber like a bomb going off. Dad, I can't protect you anymore. Can you imagine? The entire room just exhales at once. Camera shutters start clicking like machine gun fire. Lawmakers are shifting in their seats. Someone actually drops a pen, and you can hear it hit the floor. Trump's smirk? Gone. Completely vanished. His hand freezes mid-gesture, and for this split second, you can see him lock up like those words physically hit him. The live stream comments absolutely explode. Is this real? What is happening right now? Did she just say what I think she said? The viewer count is spiking by the thousands every second. But here's the thing about Ivanka in that moment. She doesn't blink. She doesn't soften her tone. She doesn't add any qualifiers or try to take it back. It's one sentence, but it tears open the air in that room like nothing anyone has ever seen. Trump leans over to his attorney, whispering quickly, but his lawyer just shakes his head with this unreadable expression. From the press gallery, reporters are raising their phones, trying to capture both the witness table and that giant screen in one shot. And Ivanka speaks again, her voice steady but carrying this weight, like someone who's been carrying too much for too long. I've stayed silent because I thought it was the right thing for our family, she says. But there's been too much hidden, too much that the public deserves to know. The chairperson tries to restore order, but honestly, the words barely reach anyone. The room isn't loud, but it's alive. People are leaning toward each other, whispering in short bursts. Those camera clicks never stop. And Crockett, she turns slightly toward the screen, studying Ivanka's face like she's watching the next move in a chess match unfold. Now here's where it gets absolutely crazy. Crockett asks Ivanka why she chose to speak now, and Ivanka drops this bombshell. Because 2 years ago, in a room much smaller than this one, I watched something happen that I can't keep to myself anymore. Trump crosses his arms, trying to look dismissive, but you can see the muscle in his jaw tightening with every word. The live stream audience count has doubled in minutes. Screenshots are flying across social media with captions like, "History being made live." But wait, it gets even more intense. Crockett asks if this something involved Trump directly, and Ivanka just says, clear as day, yes. The audience seating reacts in this low wave of murmurs. Reporters are on their phones, probably texting their editors with messages like, "This is bigger than we thought." And then Ivanka explains what really happened. She talks about this private family meeting, no press, no advisors, just them. There was a document. She says, something passed around the table that laid out topics they would not speak about publicly. Topics they wouldn't answer questions about if called to testify. Can you believe this? A literal written agreement to stay silent. But here's the kicker. When the chairperson asks if this agreement was legally binding, Ivanka shakes her head. No lawyers present, she says. No signatures from anyone except one person. And when Crockett asks whose signature was on it, Ivanka looks directly into that camera and says, "It was signed in large bold letters, Dad." The room absolutely erupts. Well, not erupts exactly, but you can feel this wave of shock roll through every seat. Trump's expression tightens, and he reaches for his water glass, but doesn't drink. His hands are betraying his nerves. Now Trump tries to dismiss it, calling it nothing more than a family conversation about privacy. But Crockett fires back with this devastating line. Every family has a Mr. Trump, but not every family writes them down and signs them. That line hits harder than any shouting could have. And then, in what might be the most shocking moment of all, Ivanka reveals she has a copy of this document. Not just memory, an actual copy. The impact of that admission is like watching a controlled demolition in real time. But she's not done. Oh no, she's not done. Ivanka tells him there's also a photograph from that meeting. A photograph showing the table, the document, and yes, the signature. And when Crockett asks if she has it with her, Ivanka doesn't hesitate. Yes. Within seconds, this image appears on a massive screen. A wide shot of a polished wooden table with familiar faces around it, and right there in the center, this single sheet of paper. The signature at the bottom is unmistakable, bold and sweeping, with just one word underneath. Dad. You can actually hear the press gallery gasp. Camera shutters are going off like crazy, even though the photo is already being displayed publicly. And at the bottom of that document, clear as day, are the words, "Topics we do not discuss." Trump tries one last desperate move, claiming the images could be doctored, but it's too late. The story has already taken on a life of its own. When Crockett asks Ivanka who took the photograph, she says, simply, "I did, because I wanted a record of what we were agreeing to." The room goes completely still. And then Ivanka delivers what might be the most powerful line of the entire hearing. She looks directly into that camera and says, "I didn't come here to attack my father. I came because there's a point where loyalty to a person can outweigh loyalty to the truth." Let that sink in for a moment. Loyalty to the truth. Trump tries to call the whole thing a scripted media performance, but Crockett shuts that down immediately. "You think your own daughter's words were written for her?" she asks. And when Trump claims Ivanka is being influenced, Crockett delivers this perfect response. Influenced or finally free to speak without influence? But here's what makes this story even more incredible. This isn't just coming from political opponents anymore. Congressman Harris, one of Trump's staunchest allies, stands up and says he wants the full document released to the public record. "I've defended you for years," he tells Trump, "but this is a written agreement to limit what family members say under oath. This isn't something I can justify without more information." When your own supporters start breaking ranks, that's when you know the moment has truly shifted. As the hearing winds down, Crockett rises to her feet for one final statement. She looks around that chamber, from the press gallery to Trump at the witness table to Ivanka still on that screen, and delivers what becomes a line everyone remembers. "When the truth walks through your front door, it doesn't knock. It just steps inside and everyone hears it." The room freezes. Complete silence. Then the chairperson's gavel comes down. We are in recess. But even as the hearing officially ends, you know this is really just beginning. Because what we witnessed wasn't just a political moment or family drama. It was a rare instance when someone chose truth over loyalty, transparency over protection, and the public's right to know over personal comfort. Ivanka Trump had spent years in her father's inner circle, staying silent, protecting the family, keeping their secrets. But on that day, in front of cameras broadcasting to millions, she made a different choice. She chose to speak. And in doing so, she changed not just a congressional hearing, but possibly the entire conversation around accountability, family loyalty, and what we owe to the truth. Sometimes the most powerful moments come not from your enemies, but from the people who know you best. And sometimes, just sometimes, they decide that the truth matters more than keeping the peace.